Hello and welcome back to Framingham Now. I'm Jack Patrick Lewis, State Representative for the 7th Middlesex District, and we are now continuing our conversation with the candidates running for the District 4 City Council position. As you may recall, District 4 includes the current precincts 6 and 9. We just welcomed Amanda Shepard onto the show, and now we're continuing our conversation with Mike Cannon. Mike, thank you so much for joining us.
It's good to be with you, Jack. Thank you.
We have 10-12 minutes together, so I'm hoping it'll give you a chance to introduce yourself to the couple people out there that maybe haven't met you yet. So for those people, tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're running.
Well, my name is Mike Cannon. I've been a resident and a taxpayer, a homeowner here in Framingham for about a decade, since I was 29. It's a common question, why am I running? I've been involved in our community for a number of years, and it seems as time has gone on, and especially during this campaign, as we're literally knocking on doors, as you know, I'm running into more and more seniors and families and veterans who are having ever-increasing trouble, difficulty with their increasing water and tax bills. And that upsets me, both as someone who's been active in our community and someone who has a financial perspective because of my involvement, and as a business owner, because I know we can do better for them. And I see Framingham in its place where we are right now in a time of transition, and I think I can use my experience to help us move forward together.
Can you tell us a little bit more about what you've done in town over the last 10 years?
Gladly. I currently serve on the Finance Committee. Prior to that, I was on our Capital Budget Committee and Town Meeting, and have worked on a number of issues behind the scenes. The things that I enjoy most, though, don't get me wrong, the Finance Committee is a blast. But I like being part of community building projects, like being part of the development of Framingham's newest park, which is under construction right now after many years, or being part of a committee to help us further capitalize on our presence along the route of the Boston Marathon to raise badly needed funds for Framingham charities. And very quietly behind the scenes, I support a number of other Framingham organizations as well.
Excellent. I know you've been out campaigning and talking to folks about the things that are important to them as Framingham makes this journey from being a town for all these years to now a city. What are your top 2 or 3 priorities you hope to work on if elected?
Well, the reality is there are so many more competing, urgent, mission-critical priorities than just the top 2 or 3. But if we had to kind of narrow it down, once we get through the period of transition, which in and of itself is going to be a pretty massive task, we need to take a pretty hard and critical look at our spending. We're just on a path that's unsustainable. You see it in your tax bill and your water bill. So much of what you pay when you pay your water bill has nothing to do with the water coming out of your faucet. It's a longer conversation for a different day, but it has to do with what we're spending our dollars on. Because right now we're just continuing on a path that's unsustainable. The good news is we're in a position where once we kind of make a little course correction, once we make smart, reasonable decisions and smarter choices, we'll be on a better path, and we'll still be able to support our schools, still be able to provide strong public services, and avoid the path that we're on now of taxing our seniors out of our homes. So the financial one is important. Beyond that, as a community, just being a resident and a homeowner, I'd like to see us be a little more customer focused. It's a kind of a simple thing, but it's a bit of a culture change in some of our town departments. You and I are in town hall every day, or city hall. I'm probably going to call it town hall for a very long time.
That's all right. And I'm not there every day, but maybe if you invite me for coffee,
we'll have coffee at town hall.
Okay. City hall.
Town hall anyway. Because we're involved in the community, we have a sense of, we need to do this is who you need to talk to. You're looking to build a shed, this is who you need to go. You need a crosswalk. For someone that's not kind of an insider, or for someone that doesn't know somebody, it's really difficult to get something done in Framingham. And I'm not talking about the big things, I'm just talking about the little things like I mentioned. So I think, in business, when I've had people working for me, I've never viewed my role as the boss. It's always been more of a coach. And I've looked at my job as trying to make it as easy as possible for my folks to succeed, because together we achieve more that way. As a government in Framingham, I think our core responsibility is to make it as easy as possible for our residents, for our citizens, to focus on what's important to them. So I think we need to be more customer focused.
Excellent. And I know one of the things I'm most excited about this new form of city government is not only will there be these 2 at-large city councilors that'll work to represent all of Framingham, but that each nook and cranny in town, each part of town, each neighborhood will have its own person that'll advocate for that community. And there's nothing quite like living down the road from the person that is advocating for you and has your best interests at heart. You're running to represent precincts 6 and 9. Just a reminder to folks that if you were in Precinct 9 yesterday, you're still in Precinct 9. You still vote in the same place at the Wesley United Methodist Church. And if you were in Precinct 6 yesterday, you still vote at Walsh Middle School. We now have one more number to remember. Those two precincts come together to now make up this new District 4, which you are running against Amanda Shepard to represent in this newly formed 11-person city council. And while I hope that you'll all work together for Framingham's future, I know in the back of all of your mind, you're going to be thinking about the neighborhood you live in that you've been tasked with representing. And so I'm curious if you could talk a little bit more about what you think the unique needs are for this newly formed District 4 and how you're going to advocate for those in the midst of this larger conversation about Framingham's future.
Sure, and I'll respectfully correct one thing that you said. I'm not running against anybody. I'm running for the people at District 4 and for Framingham, of course.
Thank you for the clarification.
It's an interesting word, though, this district thing. It's all new to us. And district is an awkward political term. They're random lines on a map. It doesn't quite capture the vibrancy of our neighborhoods and what we have and the families that have been stewards of it, the new people moving in. But yeah, District 4, when I look at it, I find that nearly every major issue facing Framingham touches the new District 4. We're residential, we're commercial, we're inclusive of the Golden Triangle, which has not resembled a triangle in decades, but that retail commercial area. We've got those major retail and commercial parcels that are aggressively targeted for further development, which could mean even more traffic, which I'm particularly sensitive to. As I was cursing the traffic yesterday afternoon, it's getting earlier and earlier. So throughout our community, and certainly I think in District 4, we'll need to elect councilors that are qualified, that have a depth of knowledge, that have a foundation of experience in various areas throughout our community. Doesn't mean you need to have held elected or appointed office, of course, but some sort of community involvement that you've had in so the neighborhoods and you know how to represent the neighborhoods that you'll be working for as a district councilor.
Excellent. And I know you've been out there knocking on doors, and I don't represent Precinct 6 or 9, so I won't ask if they've been talking highly about me.
It's not too late to move. We'd love to have you in District 4.
It would complicate things for me. And you're already well represented at the State House by Chris Walsh, and
yes.
I'm sure you're hearing great things about him as you're going door to door. But what are some of the issues people have on their minds as you're out there waking up babies and interrupting dinners?
I've been, well said. Hopefully every once in a while I'm a welcome guest, and that's sure. Been nice too. And Chris is certainly highly regarded. I would say that the key issues, certainly our schools and how we can increase the performance of our schools. I'm very, very confident and excited by the new leadership we have in Bob Tremblay. Dr. Tremblay, I think, has some great ideas that I'm excited to see how he grows with the great faculty, the teachers, the staff that we have in our school system here. And I think for the first time having district representation, that neighborhood representation throughout our community is going to be something that's, we will quickly ask ourselves, gosh, how did we live without this for so long? I think Adam Freudberg is going to be a tremendous asset to our community and certainly to District 4. It depends on who I talk to. If it's an older community who does not own their home, or rather does not have a mortgage on their home, they see their taxes, they see that check that they write, and that is almost the first thing that they mention. If it's a younger family who maybe they pay their taxes through their mortgage, so it's not such a big number because they're not writing a physical check just to the town of Framingham for their taxes, it's their water bills and something that's going on in our school system. So it really depends on the audience. And District 4 has just a little bit of everybody. We've got young families that are moving in and growing, and people that have been stewards of our neighborhoods for generations. And
I know that Chris Walsh, Carmen Gentile, and I, the three people that represented the State House, different parts of Framingham, along with Senator Karen Spilka, that she represents the whole town in the state Senate. We're looking forward to having people to partner with. This a group of 11, and knowing that each of us represents a part of town, that we're going to have a direct conduit into each of these neighborhoods. We can't live in each of the neighborhoods. We can try to walk them. We spend time in, especially your neck of the woods, with the proximity to the schools and the YMCA and the shopping area. I spend a lot of time in District 4. But I know we're eager to partner with each of you, and post-election, I think if you're the one that's elected, look forward to, or prepare yourself for some partners at the State House, hoping to find a way to best help Framingham chart its future, knowing that there are many issues that need to be dealt with at the city level, and we want to be supportive as appropriate. But those issues that are state issues that you're going to be asked about, you need to know that there's a conduit in place for those people to go to the supports that exist for them. And I wish you the best of luck as you continue campaigning.
Thank you.
It's almost over. It's almost over. And if you're elected, you'll have at least 5 minutes before you have to start campaigning again.
Seems it.
Which is the political climate we live in. So welcome to that arena. In closing, I want to ask you a question I ask everybody, and it's, what is it about Framingham? What is it about this town that you have chosen to move to and to stay in for all these years, to become involved in a way that the average resident has chosen not to? But you've now put yourself out there to be one of 11 people making, charting the future for Framingham's future, for Framingham as it moves into this new system. I have to think that it says something not only about you and the other people running, but also something about the town, soon to be city itself. And for you, what is that? It's
when I bought my home in Framingham, I was living in Connecticut, and I was growing up in Greater Boston. All I knew of Framingham at the time was Shoppers World. So my real estate person at the time, I was following him. He got distracted on a phone call, and we ended up at Callahan State Park. We were going to a listing, I think, in Sudbury or Wayland. All I knew of Framingham was Shoppers World. And when we got lost at Callahan State Park, I asked, well, what part of Sudbury is this? No, this is Framingham. And we charted course and changed priorities, and very quickly after buying my home, I was running the Northeast for a publicly traded financial company. I very quickly fell in love with the community. I mean, we just have everything, and whether it's agriculture and small business and restaurants and retail and parks and schools, and we just have everything. And what we don't have, we have incredible proximity to. So I've been really excited the way Framingham has welcomed me over the last decade, and in the time that I've been involved behind the scenes, I hope that I've been able to make a contribution. And you're absolutely right about the leadership that we have at the State House. Even in the Finance Committee role that I have, or on capital budget or town meeting or whatever issue is going on, you and I have been able to chat and work together. And in Framingham, I hope people know that they're very well represented at the State House, with our legislators crossing district lines to help the community at large. And I think now that we have a structure, regardless of if I get elected or not, having the right structure in place for a community with our complexity and size, the community, the elected folk representing the voters, will be able to get a lot more done. I'm really excited about the future in Framingham.
Excellent. Well, I'm so grateful that you were running, that I wish you the best of luck over these next couple days and weeks.
Thank you.
I'm so grateful that you took the time to come on the program. For those watching at home, if you live in District 4, which includes precincts 6 and 9, remember to vote on November 7th. You'll have a choice between the 2 finalists for mayor. You'll have a choice between the 4 folks running for at-large city council. You'll be able to help narrow it down to 2. You'll be able to choose between Amanda Shepard and Mike Cannon to be your district representative. And I think you only have the 1 person running for school committee, you
Adam
said. So
Froyberg's going to do a great job.
you only have 3 choices if you live in District 4. So thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, November 7th to vote, and continue to do research on all the candidates. They're putting themselves out there, and before you know it, they might be knocking on your door. Thank you so much. Until next time.